all of the elements that we need from that. So when we start talking about Bills, Broncos, let's just get straight to it. What'd you make of the call? Everybody's talking about the call. Everybody's got their eyes on the call. What did you make of the call in this one where it looked like to some a completion, it's ruled an interception, controversy everywhere?
It was an interception. And I know that that's not what Bills fans want to hear today. And frankly, I was shocked at the sheer amount of outrage after that call. And of course, it's a massive and pivotal call and a massive game for a team that's looking to break through and a quarterback that's beloved by everyone, including myself. So I get that portion of it. But I feel like a lot of pushback that, and people who are, saying that it wasn't an interception, the reason why they're saying that is because they have a stop motion photo to say, look, the ball was in his hands. He had control of the ball. Well, you can't show a still photo and in support of your argument, because the whole point of it is that the ball was in motion. Let's say let's take the defender out of this. Let's take the interception portion out of this. If Brandon Cooks has possession of the ball, let's just go through that exact same course of events. If the ball pops out, and it's not an interception, the ball pops out in the same exact fashion, just sans defender, that's an incomplete pass, right? He doesn't have control of it. Even though he's on the ground and the ball pops out, that is textbook incomplete pass. And I don't think that would be much pushback from anybody. But there just so happened to be a defender there that when the ball did pop out, the defender got it. So it's a funky interception. It's not one that you see very often. It was an incredibly unfortunate pivot of events for Buffalo, but it was the right call.
So here's the thing. 100% we agree on this, but let me caveat a few things. Number one, I will, for everybody watching us for the first time or sees this on social media, I'll remind you, I have a Raiders helmet behind me. So certainly I'm never going to root for the Denver Broncos. I need Bills fans to hear that because they all think that there's a bias. Number two, I think at some point, I think what we have to look at through all of this is you got to look at part of the rest of the way this whole play went down. And to your point, there's a lot of comparisons to other plays. He was falling to the ground as he was making the catch. We're going to get to the breaking news right now. Breaking news just coming in. We'll continue this conversation in a moment. The Bills are moving on from Sean McDermott. So Tom Pelissero is letting us know that the Bills fired Sean McDermott. Sources tell the insiders. We'll try and figure out what that means for the job openings across the landscape. You actually predicted this. You actually predicted the possibility that we would be coming into Monday with no Sean McDermott, Caroline. So this is the reaction that the Bills are giving us from losing this game.
I never want to cheer for anybody losing their jobs because it's not just going to be Sean McDermott. It's that entire Bills coaching staff. I would like to say I told you so. But I think this just goes to show, because you don't see coaches fired very often after getting to the divisional round of the playoffs. But this just goes to show the level of frustration within the Buffalo Bills franchise. This just goes to show that an early exit from the postseason, not getting to the Super Bowl, not breaking through, especially in a year where there is no Mahomes, there is no Burrow, there is no Lamar Jackson, that the Bills have consistently fallen short of this standard. That's not good enough anymore, and something has to give. Now, I didn't wake up on Sunday morning and think that the Bills' issue and the reason why the Bills lost that game was because of Sean McDermott. I can't point to coaching. It was squarely on the turnovers. You cannot turn the ball over 5 times in a game and point the finger at anyone other than the team itself. But I think that the frustration has just kind of boiled over, that the product, not just on Saturday night, but the last several years, some of the regular season losses, some of the postseason losses, that's just not good enough in Buffalo anymore. You have one of the best, if not the best players on the planet as your quarterback in Josh Allen. Losing in the divisional round, not going to cut it.
I think this is part of where my mind goes to. This particular game and the way it was coached, to me, is probably not the main reason that Sean McDermott got fired. This is just another piece of information in the overall concept of why are we firing McDermott. I can't say this loud enough. Josh Allen, I think, is a big reason why the Buffalo Bills lost that football game over the weekend. As much as we all love Josh Allen, and nobody ever critiques Josh Allen, I get it. But The fact is, Josh Allen is the one that, look, we can fault Sean McDermott for deciding to be aggressive with 22 seconds left in the first half. I didn't like it. Take a knee, go to the half. You're down by 7, live to see the second half. They did decide to be aggressive, where Josh Allen weirdly fumbled the ball in a position where he was being willy-nilly with where he was holding the football. So is it McDermott's fault that they decided to be aggressive? Yeah. Is it Josh Allen's fault that the ball was actually fumbled? Yeah. Is McDermott being fired today if Josh Allen hits a wide open tight end towards the end of the game for what would be the game-winning touchdown? Probably not. Like, I get the firing of Sean McDermott because the result overall hasn't been good enough. I completely understand why the Bills are doing what they're doing. That being said, I don't believe that Sean McDermott's incompetence as a coach is the reason that the Buffalo Bills lost over the weekend. The reason the Buffalo Bills lost over the weekend is also not because of the officials. The reason the Buffalo Bills lost was not because of the call. They lost because Josh Allen picked a really bad time to have a terrible non-Josh Allen-like game. If Josh Allen even plays normal Josh Allen football, they're not getting beat in that football game. So they went all the way down to the wire on Josh's worst day, and as a result, Sean McDermott's getting fired. I understand the move, but I still think that this loss is squarely on the shoulders of Josh Allen.
And I will add James Cook into that as well, because James Cook had the back-breaking fumble that Denver scored off of early in the game, I believe in the second quarter. And that was just the Broncos continued to pull away. And look, the Bills fought themselves back into it. The Bills fought themselves back into a position where they could have won that game. They just didn't. And it's hard to blame the two guys that have been, and not even just the foundation, not even just the backbone, but the entirety of this Bills offense. This Bills offense is Josh Allen and James Cook. So you're going to ride the horses that got you there, Josh Allen and James Cook. But to your point, you can't point the finger at anybody but yourselves. When you turn the ball over 5 times in a football game, you lose the privilege to blame anybody else except the ones who turned the ball over. But I don't think Sean McDermott is fired today because of that game. I don't think Sean McDermott is fired in a glass case of just losing the Broncos game, because I don't think that there were any blatantly poor head coaching decisions that Sean McDermott made in that game that single-handedly led to them losing that game. I think it's just a culmination of a lot of things. And I do wonder if the brass in Buffalo had already made their mind up going into that game, that if we fall anything short of a Super Bowl, we have to make a change. I don't know, but I do wonder what the conversations have been like over the last several months.
I will say this. If you're getting rid of McDermott, fine. I totally understand the move. To me, Brandon Beane, the GM, got to be fired too. Like at some point, and this comes back to the organizational decision the Bills made years ago. We had a former Bill player on our draft broadcast for Yahoo Sports a couple of years ago when they were looking at a possible wide receiver in the first round. He was the one that said, no, organizationally, they don't believe they need wide receivers. They believe any wide receiver can win, and that Josh Allen is worth 40 touchdowns with anything. And that was organizationally the belief. They have not handled the pieces, the necessary pieces around him. So if we're going to get rid of McDermott because the defense hadn't held up to their end of the bargain, I understand it. But also, you've made Josh Allen go out and single-handedly lift this team over and over and over and over again. So if you are deciding that the standard, the status quo is not good enough, I totally support that. But I also got to look at it and say, then get rid of Brandon Beane, because at some point the elements around, if we believe that Josh Allen is absolutely one of the great players of this generation, and I do, if we believe that, and we believe that the result has failed Josh Allen, which I agree with, if we're going to take that out on the coach, take it out on the GM too for not giving him more weapons and not finding a way to bring in more pieces that can help Josh Allen do his job to the best of his ability. If you're going to make some change, make all the change.
It's not rocket science. We have seen, let's use Patrick Mahomes as an example, another one of the best quarterbacks on the planet, elite playmakers. We view him as Superman in the same light that we view Josh Allen, and rightfully so. But we know what Patrick Mahomes looks like when Travis Kelce has just gotten to an age where he's not the same Travis Kelce that he used to be, with, no Rashee Rice, with no Xavier Worthy. I mean, a big portion why Patrick Mahomes is viewed as the modern day post Tom Brady best quarterback in the league is because he's got pieces around him, including Chris Jones and that Chiefs defense, including his head coach and Andy Reid. Yes, Patrick Mahomes, he himself is elite and he is a magician, but you can't do it by yourself. You need those pieces around you. We have proof of concept with other elite receivers in the league. And Keon Coleman was supposed to be that, but he's not that. We at least have enough of a sample size, games and seasons, where we know Keon Coleman is not that certified number one lockdown kind of receiver. So I think the Bills have to look around, not just offensively, but defensively as well. That run defense stinks. That run defense has been terrible all season long. So I don't disagree with you that something needs to change in terms of the talent evaluation. But maybe the brass in Buffalo looks at it and says, look, we're giving you the pieces. You're just not developing it. You're not putting these talented players in a position to win football games. And that's exactly why Sean McDermott has lost his job. But I do wonder where Buffalo goes from here at the head coaching position this late in the hiring cycle.
Ian Rappaport now tweeting out Brandon Beane will remain and help lead the search. So there's a lot of breaking news coming out of Buffalo. We will continue to get you that breaking news. But coming up, everybody has this controversial take about what we saw over the weekend from the Bills, Broncos, the call. We're going to talk to one of the most qualified people in the world to break it down. Dean Blandino joins us next.